So let's talk about hooks for a second. There are a number of hooks that you could end up using with Sequelize. And these hooks end up getting set up. These are basically our column definitions. And we could pass in another object here. And we could end up putting on hooks. And there's a number of hooks that you could end up using. Now, I'm just going to go over here. And I'm going to put in a hook called before save. And I'm going to set this to a function. And just so you can actually see this, in the before save, this is going to be a product. I'm just going to console log the product just to show you that this hook is being called. So hooks give us a way to really do whatever we want to do before an object, before certain events. So there's hooks before saving, after saving, before creating, after creating, before updating, after updating, also with deleting as well, and even before validation. So if you wanted to do some massaging of your object before it ends up going through validation, you could end up doing that as well. So we're going to do before save here. And we'll see. These are basically all of our records as they're getting created here, all of our foods, all of our products, basically. So I don't want to log this here. But what I want to test out is that sometimes I'm going to have a form. And maybe my company ID is going to be an empty string. But if I try to insert an empty string into the database, I'll get an error. Now, what that would mean from the UI's perspective very often is, hey, look, there is not a category ID associated with this product. Maybe there was before, there isn't now. So I'm going to just go over here and I'm going to describe hooks, and I'm going to write an expectation. An empty category ID will get set to null. And how am I going to test that out? Well, I'm going to make this an await. And what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say product. And I'm going to go over here and I'll say await product.create. Let's give it a name of Quag. And I'm going to give it an empty category ID. Again, if this was coming from a form, this might be something that ends up getting sent up. And I'm going to write an expectation. I expect the product, when this happens, first of all, it's going to be successful, and that the category ID to equal null. And if I go over here and I look at this, let's just fix this await here. That's not a wait, that is a sync. And if I do this, I'll find out I get an error because it's saying you can't do that. This is an empty value. You can't have that value for UUID. So again, these are where these hooks end up getting used. And I'm just going to ask the question when I come in here. I'm going to say, hey, look, is the product's category ID, is it an empty string? If it is, I have the ability to update it. And I'm going to say the product.category ID is null. Null is a valid value. And this now will end up passing. So, one thing that you could end up using this for, I'm not doing anything asynchronously in here. But if there were some, issues in terms of the number of products you should have, or what ends up getting inserted has to correlate to some other value that, again, might not be something you could enforce with the database, you could run whatever you want to run in here. It could be asynchronous. As long as a promise ends up getting returned from here, or this is marked as asynchronous, you could do whatever you want. And if you don't want this thing to end up getting saved, you could always end up throwing an exception based upon what your business logic is. But this is relatively simple. We're just changing the category ID so we don't end up getting a database error.